Hey guys, welcome back to the Friday Vlog, where we discuss activity that goes on here with the BuzWeaver channel. That includes things like current events, headlines that are in the news, pop culture, social media, technology, and items of interest that come up during the week that allow us to have a little bit of a dialogue. If this is your very first time here to the channel, if you're on BitChute, Rumble, or Odyssey, and even here on YouTube, I want to welcome you guys, and of course all of you who are following on the various social medias, to include New Tech. I want to thank all of you guys for your continued support.
We start things off from The Guardian 3 years ago because, as many of my fellow commentators have been saying, I think it's worth mentioning or reminding people about what was going on prior to the Trump administration and during the Trump administration, particularly all the Trump detractors and the things they were saying about him and how he was going to create a war or create issues among our allies and adversaries in the country, but none of that really manifested, as we can clearly see now in hindsight, right? Trump is creating a nuclear threat worse than the Cold War, says Simon from the UK, a Trump detractor from overseas, of course. Whoa, there he goes again. Donald Trump's impulsive decision to rubbish a landmark arms control treaty and develop a new generation of American nuclear weapon deals, another devastating, dangerous blow to the rule-based global order. Yeah, the rule-based global order. How are those rules working out for you now? It seems Trump only has to look at an international treaty or a multilateral institution, and he is overcome by an irresistible urge to tear it down. No, he's not. He is capable and able of putting things together. He is a businessman who knows strategy, but most importantly about Trump is he also knows outcomes and solutions and how to produce solutions and get things done. And here's what's interesting. Here's another piece of irony that I saw from this article. Trump's double standard also extends to Iran. Ironically, the only country that has kept its nuclear word. Well, I suppose in a way, since it's limited in its nuclear capability, it did keep its word. However, on Saturday, this recording is on March the 16th, Wednesday, but on Saturday, earlier this week, Erbil attack. Iran launches missiles at northern Iraqi city. That's right. 12 missiles hit areas around the U.S. consulate overnight, causing material damage and wounding one civilian, the Kurdish regional government said. So here you go. The Trump detractors and all those who said that if Trump were elected, there'd be world war, there would be devastation and chaos and disorder and tumult. And yet here we are. Under Joe Biden, the establishment appointed surrogate vote-by-mail president, and we're actually seeing it happen. And, of course, his rival in 2016, of course, was Hillary Clinton. And this is even more poignant, and this was something that Tim mentioned as well. He didn't go into the details, so I'll do it here to serve as a reminder, of course, for you guys to share with those on social media so they can be informed and aware of what's actually going on. So if you find yourself in a predicament or an argument with these individuals, you can bring them to our channel here on the BuzWeaver channel and present this to them, so don't forget to hit the like as well. Why Clinton's plans for a no-fly zone in Syria could provoke U.S.-Russia conflict. Now, I'll probably go into more of this detail earlier in the week when we talk about Zelensky requesting yet another no-fly zone, which really can't happen because that would be a prelude to war. Now, it's interesting because it says here, retired senior U.S. military pilots are increasingly alarmed that Hillary Clinton's proposal for no-fly zones in Syria could lead to a military confrontation with Russia that could escalate to levels that were previously unthinkable in the post-Cold War world. Of course, exactly, because Hillary Clinton is only thinking from a political standpoint. Democrats very much do that, and we've already mentioned many times what we can expect when a Democrat becomes president. Our taxes go up, there's economic problems, and of course there are international issues. And here we see Clinton, who has long backed a no-fly zone as the Syrian bloodshed has accumulated, acknowledge those concerns in last week's third presidential debate. I'm going to continue to push for a no-fly zone and safe havens within Syria, not only to help protect the Syrians and prevent the constant overflow of refugees, Clinton said, but to, frankly, gain some leverage on both the Syrian government and the Russians so that perhaps we can have the kind of serious negotiation necessary to bring conflict to an end and go forward on a political track. So here she was basically baiting the Russians by suggesting that they would have a no-fly zone. I should say up here earlier, Clinton has long backed no-fly zones as the Syrian bloodshed has accumulated if there was some mishap there. But nonetheless, guys, it's very interesting, is it not? When we go back and look at some of these things that were being said by the Clintons in her campaign and her herself during the debates about how she would instigate Russia, how she would instigate our adversaries. And of course, that would just, allow them to actually take her up on those things because they would call her bluff, knowing that that's basically what it was. And to an extent, Biden didn't even really say much of anything other than it's a possibility, right? But it ended up being quite serious. And here from Canada, Canada's defense chief warns Russia has reoccupied Arctic bases. So Russia is doing a lot of saber rattling, but this is something that we have always talked about. These are things that you can anticipate when you have a Democrat president. But this has been very interesting here to see that the Canadians are kind of perking up. And of course, Alaska's not very far from Russia either because we purchased Alaska from Russia. But as we can see here as well, here in the United States. Now, some may argue, and I have said, that the war has been kind of a distraction from what's actually going on with Joe Biden, but people can still see it because people have to go to work every day or they have to function every day, and they can see gas prices and they're going to the grocery store. So they can see that these things are having an impact that Joe Biden or his administration has brought to the United States. So wholesale inflation in the U.S. shot up 10% last month from a year earlier as energy costs skyrocket 33.8%. And that was before Biden's sanctions on Russian oil. That's right. People need to be reminded of this too. This all happened before Russia invaded. So here you have it right here. Inflation from September, right? From September 2020 to 2021, November 20 to 2021, and inflation of 2021 to February 2022. These are all before the invasion of Ukraine. These are all before that. So Biden doesn't have a lot of room to talk here. But as you can see here, I wanted to show you this one graph, how extraordinarily high it is. That is pretty incredible. And these are the things that Americans can understand. Now, maybe a lot of Americans aren't into politics. They don't like to deal with politics. They don't want to deal with the news. But they can understand very basic things. That is expensive gas, expensive groceries, expensive cars, and just prices of just doing everyday life and business each and every day. All right, guys, and that's what I had for you guys this Friday.
All right, guys, so that's going to wrap it up for this Friday vlog. Thank you for the likes, the shares, and the comments, especially now in 2022, as we show the algorithm that conservative commentary is welcome here on the channel. And of course, below this video, you can find the various social media links to the various social media sites that I belong to, where I post daily. And thank you to all of you on Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey for your continued support, as well as everyone here on YouTube. Appearing there on the screen, guys, that's going to be the channel icon. If you are watching via YouTube, you can click on that to subscribe, as well as to select notifications, so you'll know when there's content here on the channel. And I'll see all you guys right there behind that camera next week.